Today, we will be reviewing the One-Man Army Expert Advisor by Mr. Ihor. So Ihor is a very well-respected developer. He is one of the best guys at developing currency-based mean reversion systems. And I have seen many of his bots by now, and to what I know of, many of his clients are very happy, or pretty much all of them are very happy with the quality of the bots developed, and he always makes something which is usually based on a real trading system. So these ones here, he is running a multi-currency approach on the M15 timeframe. Usually what I've seen to date is that he gives people many different set files, and he tends to be fairly indicator heavy. So usually he tells you to run a big portfolio of different EAs, and typically you would do so on many different currency pairs, and in doing so you would then smooth the total equity curve, because the portfolio approach is the closest thing to a free lunch which we get in trading. What we can see is that to date his results have been very good. He's running it on a whole bunch of different pairs, and he's had a few months of results to date. So really what I'm looking at here is what is different between this particular one and some of his other bots, and what are some of the kind of unique features that he's adding, which we can then take advantage of to further enhance our portfolios. So here what he's saying is that this one is using pending limit orders. And this is a bit unique. I know some of his prior ones are based more on market entries, and perhaps that's kind of a unique way of assessing this. At the same time, he's also saying that there's 17 instruments, so it's not maybe as broad as some of his prior ones. And effectively, it's also very compatible with lower leverage as well as most brokers worldwide. So overall, looks very solid. Yeah, main thing is he is very indicator heavy, so you will need a bit of constant reoptimization for this to work going forward, but he does also provide the set files. Just keep in mind that if you're using something like this, which is more indicator based, more mean reversion based, a bit more frequent reoptimization tends to be helpful. Whereas if you were to do something which is a simple breakout system, those tend to be a bit more robust because the underlying logic usually has fewer variables. So now let's dive into MT5 to see what the bot has been up to. Okay, so we're now back in MT5, and we can see that I ran this on the EuroCAD M15 per Ihor's suggestions. And as we can see, with very limited risk, we roughly broke even on this one, and I did indeed run it on the M15. But perhaps it was just this particular one was not the most incredible of all of his set files. He does give you a bunch of them, so it could have also just been that this 1 year, it wasn't the ideal period. Had you started, for instance, in January of this year, you would have done quite a bit better. So to move my head up here, you can see it always depends when you start, and that's really why I believe he's advocating for a portfolio level approach. But also because we're seeing these equity curves which aren't perfect, it's just giving us a bit more reassurance again that it's not necessarily an overly optimized system. That it is a real trading system. We are seeing some losses. This is to be expected with any sort of systematic strategy. And yeah, it's totally normal, but maybe it's worth asking him for a better set file here too. And what we can see is that clearly it's trading a more mean reversion style system. He's not being shy regarding the indicators being used. There's RSIs here, there's ATRs, probably to determine the actual stop losses. And there's a whole basket of moving averages and Bollinger Bands in order to give people more optionality. And this, to my earlier point, you really need to pay attention to having well-designed set files here, because if you as an individual try and use this thing and optimize it yourself, you could very easily overfit. So having somebody who knows what he's doing, putting it together in an intelligent manner is really key so that you're not overfitting. Anything that I find which is based more on indicators and less so on a very tried and tested fundamental strategy, it can work, don't get me wrong. Ihor has had great results, but you do need to just be mindful of the actual kind of training process behind it, or else it can be no bueno. So yeah, we're looking at this real trading strategy. Clearly the trigger and the filters are some form, or the trigger is some form of oscillator or Bollinger Band, and the filter is probably based more on moving averages. So overall, very good. Here we can see that he is indeed giving the optionality to use limit or market orders. He's giving a lot of settings for the different indicators and even some kind of trading times, so that if your broker does not give you the same times, you're able to make some adjustments there. So overall, looking very solid. Let's run a quick visual back test now in order to see perhaps how it's trading kind of more visually. And ooh, I guess this is his own little indicator here, the professional swing. Yep, and it's triggering there off of the oscillators, and it's entering with a limit entry. Actually, no, market sell. Oh no, sorry, pardon me. This is actually on market mode. Let's try maybe if we can set it to limit, because here he said use limit orders, false market orders. Okay. Let's try that all of a sudden. Maybe it's going to look a little bit different. So I guess you have the optionality to use both. Okay, there we go. That looks more like a order performed. There are some floating orders up there too. And he's using like his custom tick things here as well. Remove limit order from tick 8, time has run out. That's interesting actually. So I quite like that you can put with pending orders some sort of expiration time. So if like maybe you place the order, but if it doesn't actually hit, you won't actually kind of let it go through fully. So let's try now quickly if we use 1 minute open, high, low, close, using these settings, what it should ultimately look like. Because maybe it's going to give us a bit of a different view than not using limits. The limit looks better to me. Okay, so it's more selective, but it's going to be a bit of a higher win rate, which is pretty cool. I tend to do similar things with my opening range breakouts just because it's better to place an order, but not just let price go there and hit it, instead of actually just kind of blindly placing a market order. And from what I can see here, he has implemented that functionality. So to kind of wrap up our video today, looks good. All of his bots are really solid. Where I think this one is a bit different is it enables a bit more with limit orders, which I think can make it more selective, but also better. So in doing so, it can be a nice other addition to your portfolio. One thing to be careful with is always, anytime you're indicator based, you have to make sure the set files are designed properly because you can very easily overfit. So just be mindful of that and chat with Ihor to get the right data and the right set files. So guys, if you buy it, leave me a comment to let me know how it went. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you in the next video.